this lesson, we're going to learn a word-solving strategy that you can use no matter what type of text or level of text you're reading. We're going to learn how to make attempts at words based on what would make sense in a story or text. When you're reading and you come across a word you don't know, the best thing to do is stop. Think about what would make sense, and then check the letters to see if they look right. So here are some steps that you can take when you're trying to solve a word. First, think about what's happening in the story or text. Then, think about what type of word would fit in that spot. Is it going to be a noun or a thing? Is it going to be a verb or an action? What type of word would fit in the spot in the sentence? Then try a word that could make sense, and then check the letters to see if they look right. And if they don't, try another word that could make sense and check the letters of that word. Watch while I try this strategy on a passage from one of my favorite texts, Those Shoes. And in this text so far in the story, at the point that this sentence comes up, there's a little boy and he really wants a pair of shoes badly, but his family cannot afford them. So he's wearing an old pair of shoes to school, and his shoes break, and a guidance counselor gives him a pair of shoes that fits him. The problem is he's a bit embarrassed about the shoes, and there's something on the side of them. And so this is the sentence that I struggled with a word. So watch as I try this strategy. They have animals on them from I don't know that word. They have animals on them from some, I don't think any kid ever watched. Okay, so they have to watch this thing. So it has to be a thing and has to do with animals. What can do with animals? It could be a TV show, but that doesn't work because this doesn't have, the letters don't look right. This doesn't start with T. It could be a play, but again, animals could be in a play and they could watch a play, but that wouldn't work right because the letters don't work. But it could be a car. What would start with car that has animals in it that they would watch? Cartoon. Yes, it could be a cartoon. Now that does look right and it does make sense. They have animals on them from a cartoon I don't think any kid ever watched. Now that makes sense. Do you see? I didn't know what the word was. I knew what was happening in the story, and I looked at clues in the sentence. Animals and watched. It had something to do with animals, and it was something they could watch, so it had to be a thing. So I knew that it couldn't be play because it doesn't start with PL, and so it had to be cartoon. So that's how I figured it out. So remember, when you go off to reading today and you come across a word that you don't know, think about what's happening in the story or text. Think about what type of word would fit in that spot. Try a word that can make sense, and then check the letters to see if they look right. And if they don't, then go back and try another word just like I did and check the letters to see if they look right. Have fun.